Okay, we are live at 11:05 on BC. This is Spirit Cars. Josh, the voice of Spirit Cars, behind the camera. He's back there waving away. We're working on the Blue Moon, and we may give you a little snapshot of, I don't know, this thing has got an alias. I'm just going to call it the Black Knight, but we might give you a little preview of that. But I've been working on AC lines, and I'm just going to show you how we do some crimping. We used to use I won't say their name, but a parts store, and we would send our AC lines out to have them done, and we kept getting leaks. You've got to pull a vacuum to make sure there's no leaks, and we kept getting leaks. And after you do everything and you put your hoses together and you get a leak, it's like, what? So after that happened a couple times randomly, I'm like, what's up with this? Oh, our dies are messed up, and we don't do enough AC hoses to justify buying a new die. You remember that conversation, Josh?
Yeah.
So needless to say, we don't use that parts store anymore ever for anything, do we?
No.
Okay. So we do enough AC lines, and the unfortunate thing when you're a small town like this, there's not a whole lot of choices. So we probably got more AC stuff and for what we do for hot rodding than probably anybody else in town or wherever. So I've been working on getting a couple pieces we didn't have, but we got this. We were thinking about getting a hydraulic one, which was pretty pricey.
700.
700. So I was looking, and Josh was back and forth, and we were going to do that. And I said, for what we do, let's just get this one. And we got this one. I don't even know what the brand was.
Master Cool.
Master Cool. Master Cool. You guys should give me some kind of kudos for that. So there's that. We got this. We've had this thing a few years now.
Oh yeah.
And I like it. I like it a lot. The way it works is pretty simple. I just bolted the main piece onto the table here. Fold over. You put your thing in. It's got several different dies, and they just come in and out very simply. They got a little marking on them. Tells you what they are. You can probably see that better than I can without my glasses, 8. But 8 and that. So you get the right die for the fitting that you have. Put the dies in. Pretty simple. Just make sure they're in all the way for this particular one. Some of the fittings, not all, I've already crimped this one, will have a little hole in them, and the purpose of that hole is to make sure that you put your hose all the way down. So now it's not there, but if I push it in a little bit more, I can see it. If not, I would recommend that you push it all the way in, mark it with your finger where it's at, and then when you pull it out, just set it back up against it to make sure you're all the way in. But it is important that you get this hose all the way into the fitting. Pretty simple. You set it in there, put it down. There's a little pin that holds it, locks it in place. Screw it down. Up, loosen it up. For this particular one, you got to make sure you take it back far enough or it won't open all the way up. It'll look like that. If you just open it all the way, it will swing all the way open. So there you go. We have a decent crimp. I probably want to do that again over here on this side to make sure. But the bottom line is, there we go. Now let's go put this on the car. I think I started this part of the project by talking about eating an elephant, one bite at a time. And another thing that, well, there's an O-ring that goes on this. Make sure your O-rings are on. Put a little oil on them, that never hurts. When you push them in there, I got a box of O-rings.
Now the question is where's your little snack box you always have?
Snack box. Do I
Yeah,
have
you used to always have candy or something.
Oh. This is true. Right side O-ring is pretty important. So I got a couple sizes here. Put the O-rings on, and now when you're dealing with AC, an AC line and a hydraulic line both handle a lot of pressure, but they're not the same line. That Freon will actually eat up a rubber hose, so make sure you get AC line. Just need to have AC line, AC fittings, and the same with the O-rings. There's a special O-ring for AC. So I've got these. I've pre-fitted a lot of it here. So I'm back to my elephant. All right, I started, and I'm looking and where to start. Okay, the AC was what I know was going to be the trickiest part of it. And again, like I say, look at the whole project. I've said that over and over and over and over. You hate to back up to go forward. So in this project, I've got to admit, I had to back up to go forward. And I can show you that here in just a second. Larry's put a lot of this together, and he, I don't know if this motor came out of another car, if it's been started or not. If it needs a break-in, we'll talk about that. I'll get with Larry about that. But it had a 90-degree water neck here. Well, that wasn't good, so I put a 60-degree, so it comes up a little more of an angle. It had hoses that I needed to run my hoses for the heat. Well, I needed to put a fitting in here, and I need, of course, a fitting on the water pump. So you got two fittings to run your AC hoses, or your hoses for your heat. And I'll come around. I've got them run, but I wasn't thinking. I've got this fit. This bracket wasn't exactly working. And make sure when you put your compressor on, this one was to the side. There's an oil fill right here. It has to be going up like this. These are pretty square, so you can put it any direction, but it needs to come up. So I flipped that around. This bracket was on here. It was on that, but there was no way to attach it here. It hits on the valve cover. This is going to be going under that, but hits on the valve cover. It was just kind of in the way. My belts weren't lining up, so I had to move it forward on the bracket. I had to make this little piece for the bracket. Okay, I got it all lined up, got it done, got it. I'm pretty excited. Went to put my hoses on for the AC, or for the heater. I could not put this little fitting in right here. It's a 90. It comes out. It would not spin around that, so I had to undo the bracket, put it back in, do it all. I'm not sure I could have pre-thought that. I probably could have, but I was focused on the AC. Again, look at your project, the whole overall project. What it comes down to, the biggest difference between a professional and an amateur is not necessarily the quality of the work. I've got to make a living doing it. And I'm sure that Larry doesn't want to charge or have me charge him to do the same thing twice, because I was not aware of what to do. So don't get frustrated at home. I'm gonna share some of my frustrations here, not to gripe, but just to say, if you're doing it at home, stuff happens. It happens in a shop where we're supposed to be professionals and get paid for it, and it happens at home too. And especially in regards, I've been waiting. I had hoped to have this done 2 days ago, and I'm still waiting for a couple AC parts. This one didn't fit. I didn't have that hose. A small town, and we, like I said, we have lots of AC parts and more than most part stores. But some of it I would have to wait 2 days, or then they ordered me the part, but I told them what I wanted, but they didn't give me what I wanted. I got the wrong part. Don't get frustrated. You don't have to make a living doing it anyway. Stay focused. It's about aesthetics. When we're detailing a motor, which we're doing now, this is important for your motor to look good as the whole car, because people, that's what they're going to look at here. When you do AC lines, there are a lot of hoses. There's no way around that. We want to get them clean. We want to get them tidy. We're going to put clamps on everything. I was able to get